The Albanese government has taken its first step towards a national integrity system by proposing whistleblower protection laws. Critics argue the bill doesn't go far enough, pointing to a case in Queensland where a whistleblower was left exposed. Peter McCutcheon reports.
It's day by day, but I'm strong. I think if I wasn't, I certainly would have crumbled well before now.
Sharon Kelsey is living a quiet life in suburban Adelaide. But for almost 5 years, she was at the centre of one of Queensland's biggest political controversies.
Logan City Council has been labelled the laughingstock of southeast Queensland after sacking its CEO.
I think this is bloody disgraceful.
It was a mad time, very difficult, very stressful.
Sharon Kelsey was sacked from her council CEO job in 2018 and is still fighting through the courts, all after she became an official whistleblower.
Sorry, I don't have any comment.
Sharon Kelsey's been treated horribly. I would have no confidence in any legislation in this state that would protect any whistleblower.
With the federal government now proposing whistleblower laws, Sharon Kelsey's plight highlights a key point of political contention.
This is almost a case study with what's wrong with this bill that's been presented federally.
In late 2017, Sharon Kelsey blew the whistle on corrupt conduct by former Logan City Mayor Luke Smith, alleging he had intervened in the appointment of a council officer and had not acted honestly. She was sacked 4 months later.
I wasn't naive enough to think that there was, if you like, something magical that was going to happen, but I certainly assumed that my rights were going to be protected.
Weeks after her dismissal, Luke Smith was charged with corruption.
We won't be making any comments or taking any questions. The Mayor will be contesting the charges vigorously. Thank you.
The charges included corruptly receiving a gift from a developer in the form of a luxury speedboat and interfering with council recruitment.
I'm being absolutely defiant in my presumption of innocence.
Would you like to apologise?
Last week, the former mayor changed his tune, pleading guilty to charges of receiving a secret commission and misconduct, and received an 18-month suspended sentence.
It's a full vindication in terms of the truth and the need to speak truth to power.
Before the mayor's guilty plea, the former Logan CEO's status as a whistleblower had long been called into question by a faction of Luke Smith's supporters on the local council. Sharon Kelsey was on probation at the time, and a parliamentary inquiry would later find she officially filed her whistleblower complaint just 2 days after a meeting, raising concerns about her performance.
Ms Kelsey was terminated from her employment for lack of performance issues, and we made that decision in a separate vote that didn't involve the mayor, and has been proven by successive court actions that there was no connection between the vote that was taken to terminate her and the Luke Smith case.
The new Logan mayor says questions need to be answered, as it appears these performance issues only arose after people became aware that Sharon Kelsey was investigating misconduct.
Put it this way, until that had happened, no one was complaining about her performance.
Sharon Kelsey lost her unfair dismissal case, but an appeal court has referred the dispute back to the Industrial Relations Commission.
I've spent well over $3 million, but every last cent that I have, and then some, if I have to, I will spend that.
Supporters argue all this could have been avoided if Queensland's whistleblower laws were stronger, preventing retaliation in the workplace.
If a whistleblower has no protection in the workplace and to keep his job, no one's going to come forward. It's not rocket science.
It's a problem identified by the former head of the Queensland Crime and Corruption Commission, Alan McSporran, who took the unusual step of seeking to assist Sharon Kelsey in her unfair dismissal case before the Queensland Industrial Relations Commission. A bipartisan parliamentary committee found that action was serious overreach, and the corruption watchdog head later resigned.
They took a bias to overtly help and assist what they deem was a whistleblower. That is not acceptable.
The CCC were doing their best to protect Ms Kelsey. But unfortunately, that legislation really didn't have that effect.
It's a lesson the Albanese government should heed, according to Greens Senator Dave Shoebridge. Both the Greens and the LNP have expressed concern about a draft federal whistleblower bill, currently before the Senate, that attempts to filter out workplace disputes.
Cutting a hard line between those work-related matters and the whistleblowing will almost certainly see whistleblowers with less protection.
These things aren't all clean and tidy. They are deeply embedded in the workplace.
Former Logan councillor, now warehouse manager Phil Pidgeon, warns against letting too many workplace disputes get caught up in whistleblower laws. Separate to Sharon Kelsey's specific complaint, he and 7 other councillors were accused of fraud by the state's corruption body before the charges were eventually dropped 2 years ago.
It not only resulted in myself losing a 2-decade career there, but it nearly destroyed my marriage. What legislation is being considered to penalise people who might choose to weaponise the whistleblower process? Where is the other half of the argument?
It's an argument the Albanese government is likely to have in the Senate. Sharon Kelsey believes the present whistleblower bill is too weak, and her case demonstrates the pitfalls.
It's been extremely difficult. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.